Jalen Williams came out of high school as a lightly recruited 3-star recruit in 2019 and committed to play for the Santa Clara Broncos. Williams was a steady contributor for Santa Clara during his freshman and sophomore seasons, but burst onto the draft scene this past season and is now knocking on the door of the lottery. Williams flew a bit under the radar over the course of the season due to his modest production his first 2 years at Santa Clara, and also due to the fact that he played for Santa Clara. But Williams had an incredibly productive season on both ends of the court and looks like he could be a versatile two-way player in the NBA. The first strength for Williams is defense. One thing that makes Williams such a good defender is his physical makeup. Williams is just a shade under 6'6", weighs in at 209 pounds, and has a huge 7-foot, 2.25-inch wingspan. These tools give Williams the ability to seamlessly switch on defense across guards and wings. But in addition to just the physical tools, Williams is a pretty technically sound defender. He does a good job fighting over screens and staying in plays, and forces offensive players to go through his chest. Additionally, he has active hands and is good at disrupting plays without falling thanks to his long arms. Williams might not be the quickest or the highest leaper on the defensive end, but he works hard and is technically sound. He looks like he could be a high-quality, switchable defender at the NBA level. Another strength for Williams is scoring in the paint. Williams has been pretty consistently efficient from two-point territory throughout his college career, but this past season he went to another level. Williams shot 55% on twos this past season, quite an impressive number for a perimeter player. Williams is good at using his size and herky-jerky style of play to get in close to the basket. From there, he has good touch and a good understanding of angles to finish shots that others might not be able to. Williams improving as a three-point shooter this past season also helps him out in that area because it forces defenders to step up on him on the perimeter. It should be mentioned that Williams played a lot of games against less than elite competition in the WCC. He'll likely not be able to get to his spots quite as easily in the NBA. But with his size and touch around the basket, I believe he'll be able to still contribute some scoring punch inside in the NBA. One final strength for Williams is passing. This strength makes sense as Williams was originally recruited as a point guard. It seems like Williams is now being looked at as more of a wing, but he still has some good passing skills. Williams has the ability to see open teammates that others would miss and also make passes into incredibly tight windows. He certainly can make defenses pay if they are forced to scramble and find open teammates around the basket and on the perimeter. At his best, Williams seems like a guy that could be relied on to initiate the offense in stretches. But for the most part, I think in the NBA, Williams will be more of a wing player that is a useful secondary playmaker. One weakness for Williams is his handle. Overall, Williams can handle the ball reasonably well, but he just doesn't quite seem to be dynamic enough with the ball in his hands to be consistently relied on to run the offense through him. He relies mostly on his strength to get by guys on the perimeter, and seems to lose control of the ball more often than you would like to see from a lead ball handler. This to me seems like the skill that will determine how high Williams' ceiling can be. If he is able to tighten up his handle and use it to create more for himself and others, he could be a very dangerous offensive player. But I think the more likely outcome is that he is looked at as more of an off-the-ball guy that can put it on the floor when needed. He just doesn't seem quite dynamic enough to me in terms of being able to create his own shot consistently in the NBA. Another weakness for Williams is athleticism. Williams certainly isn't the worst athlete in this year's draft class, but he also isn't going to wow you too often with his athleticism. Occasionally he'll rise up for a big dunk when he has an opportunity, but for the most part he operates below the rim on both ends of the floor. Additionally, while overall he moves well, he isn't the quickest or fastest player on the court. He relies more on his size and style of play to get where he needs to go on offense, as well as on defense. Playing in the WCC, Williams didn't have too much difficulty fitting in athletically, but I could see it being an adjustment for him going into the NBA. He likely won't be able to attack the defense quite as effectively off the dribble. When it comes down to it though, Williams mostly is relying on his tools, touch, and basketball IQ on both ends of the floor. I think he'll be able to figure out how to adjust to the difference in athleticism. This first clip shows how Williams excels at scoring around the basket. The play starts with Williams taking the handoff near the top of the arc and driving to the left. He gets near the restricted area, then suddenly stops. He spins to the right, then back to the left while quickly laying it up and in off the glass. This play demonstrates both Williams' touch as well as his craftiness around the basket. While Williams might have a tougher time getting to his spots at the NBA level, he should still be a good scorer around the basket thanks to these skills. This next clip displays Williams' ability as a defender. The play starts with Williams defending at the top of the arc. He gets over the screen and hustles to stay with his man. He ends up getting back in front near the basket, forcing the offensive player to attempt to go under the basket and try a reverse layup. Williams stays with him all the way and blocks the shot. Williams is a technically sound defender and uses his tools well to give offensive players a tough time. He should be an NBA-ready defender right away. This final clip gives us an example of how Williams could struggle from an athleticism perspective. The play starts with Williams getting a pass out on the wing and driving into the middle of the paint. He appears to have a lane to the basket, but instead tries a Euro step and awkward shot attempt without much lift. A more athletic player would have blown right by the defender for an easier shot or elevated a bit to shoot over the defender, but Williams just doesn't quite have that ability. He could struggle a bit more in the NBA to get to his spots and finish as effectively as he did in college. Jalen Williams is a late bloomer in terms of both his skill set as well as his arrival onto the draft scene. Williams was only recruited by 3 schools in high school, and those schools were Nevada, Hofstra, and Santa Clara. It's fair to say that before this season he was never expected to become a first-round talent. But both the eye test and the stats are telling us that Williams has the potential to be a viable NBA player. Projecting Williams is a bit tough because he was easily the best player on Santa Clara and routinely had the offense run through him. I don't think we can reasonably expect that in the NBA. To start his career, I could see him coming off the bench for a contender or starting for a team that might not be as good. He seems like a player that will just be a steady contributor on both ends of the floor throughout his career. I'm not sure he quite has the upside to be a star, but if he continues to improve his handle and ability to create his own shot, the path to stardom certainly isn't out of the question. My NBA comp for Jalen Williams is Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon has battled injury issues throughout his career, but at his best he's a guy that can run the offense, score efficiently around the basket, and make threes at an above-average clip. I think Williams might be a better defender, but both are similarly built with long arms to give them good floors as defenders. Hopefully Williams can evade Brogdon's injury luck and have a long, productive career.